following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Where did that weekend go, I ask you? I'm sure everybody's asking the same question. That was a very, very quick weekend. It was over well too quick. But it is Monday morning, start of a brand new week here on 98FM's Dublin Talks with myself, Jeremy Dixon, with you until midday today. Boy, have we got a lot of stuff coming up on the show between now and 12. First of all, the ways to contact us. You can text or WhatsApp us on 087 798 98 98. 087 798 98 98. Or better still, call us on 6797 981. You also have the option of sending us a WhatsApp voice note to that number as well. 087 798 98 98. Now, what's coming up on Dublin Talks this morning? Well, in the first hour, in a moment, a lot of you listening now at the moment could be in work or sitting at home and you're wrecked tired because you stayed up till the early hours of the morning to watch the very last ever episode of Game of Thrones. We'll be finding out what the fascination is and talking to a super fan and finding out from you if you stayed up to watch it. Are you a huge fan? And for those of you who are worried about it, no spoilers. We won't be telling you what happened in the episode. I can't tell you what happened in the last episode because I didn't watch it. We'll come to that in a second. In about 20 minutes' time, we'll be hearing from a Dublin girl who has a dilemma, which is something that a lot of you have had to face. Okay, so you're single and you have children from a previous relationship. So you decide to set up a Tinder profile, as a lot of people do. Most single people are now on Tinder. Should you reveal on your Tinder profile whether or not you have children from a previous relationship? We'll be talking to a woman who's about to set up a Tinder profile. She's recently become single. She has 2 children and she's debating with her friends and family as to whether or not she should put up on her Tinder profile, on her bio, yes, I have 2 children. It's a very interesting dilemma and I'm sure something that you'll want to give your opinion on. And just before 11 o'clock, panic attacks. It's been in the news over the weekend, over the last couple of weeks actually. There's been a lot of celebrities coming out saying that they suffer with panic attacks. It's something that affects between 8 and 10% of the Irish population. So, 1 in 10 of you listening to the show right now regularly or occasionally has panic attacks. It's something I'm looking forward to talking about to find out, how you deal with your panic attacks and how your family and friends know when you're having one. And we'll also be talking to somebody who may be able to help if you do suffer with panic attacks. So that's coming up just before 11 o'clock. That's a lot of stuff, and that's just the first hour of the show. All that and lots more besides. It's 98FM's Dublin Talks.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Life Hack Monday.
Oh, I don't know why that said Life Hack Monday, because this isn't a life hack. Well, it's a hack about Game of Thrones. Now, if you are a Game of Thrones fan, okay, this will mean something to you. This means nothing to me, by the way, this music. But it is, of course, the theme for Game of Thrones. Now, a lot of you will have stayed up late last night to watch the final ever episode. The last episode of arguably the world's biggest TV series aired last night. Game of Thrones, Season 8, finally came to its conclusion last night, and people around the world were staying up late to watch it. I think it aired at 2 o'clock and stayed on till about, an hour and a quarter after that. And as I mentioned before the show with the Breakfast Guys, most of the subjects that we talk about on the show I know something about, or I know a little bit about. I like to think I do, but this is one subject. This is uncharted territories for me, uncharted waters, because this is the first time that I've ever discussed something on the radio that I know absolutely nothing about. Now, I'm not making that up. I'm telling you now, I have never, ever watched an episode of Game of Thrones. I know nothing about the TV programme other than that it's absolutely huge. Now, as I mentioned, a lot of people stayed up to watch the series last night. We know a lot of you haven't recorded and haven't watched it yet, so it's a spoiler-free zone. Don't worry, we're not going to give out spoilers to the programme. For those of you who have never watched it, like myself, let's have a listen to this clip of it, just to get a flavour of what it is. Now, this isn't from last night's episode, by the way.
I could teach you how to do it.
I know how to do it.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I'm taking it Jon Snow is a character in the TV programme, obviously a fairly big character in the TV programme. So I would like to hear from you. In a moment, we're going to be talking to a self-confessed Game of Thrones obsessive fan, I suppose, and he also does a podcast. That's how big this programme is. There's actually podcasts about the TV programme. But I want to hear from you. If you stayed up last night to watch it, text or WhatsApp us now 0877 98 98 98 0877 98 98 98. Did you stay up to watch it? Have you even got it recorded? Are you going to watch it when you get home this evening? I want to hear from you, and I want to find out why it is so big. Why is this a worldwide phenomenon? Why are people obsessed with this programme? What does it do for you? Most of you are huge fans of it. I want to hear from you now. What makes it so special? Why was this such an event last night that people stayed up? There's very few programmes I would stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning to watch if I was in work the next day, I have to be honest with you. So I want to hear from you. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98, or better still, call us on 6797 981. Now, joining us in the studio, we thought we'd drag someone in who is a GOT fan, and joining us in the studio is Tommy Rooney from Off the Ball, but he also does a podcast, a Game of Thrones podcast called Off the Wall. You're very welcome along to 98 FM, Tommy. How are things?
Hi, Jeremy. How you doing?
Now, first of all, important questions. Did you stay up till 2 o'clock this morning to watch the programme?
Unfortunately, I did not this morning. I'm in work at 5:30 on Off the Ball, so couldn't stay up last night, couldn't justify it. And also, we're recording our Off the Wall podcast on Tuesday this week, so I took the advantage to stay in bed.
Now, tell us about the Off the Wall podcast. It's obviously a podcast dedicated to Game of Thrones. The name Off the Wall, I didn't even know what it meant because I've never seen the programme, but I guess there's a wall in Game of Thrones. That's very important, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a bit of that, and there's a bit of pun playing on Off the Ball. Now, as some of you might know, Off the Ball is a sports show, and the hook for this is that Andy Lee, the former world champion middleweight boxer, is kind of the star of our podcast. He's absolutely obsessed with Game of Thrones. He's read all the books, he knows all the theories, he knows all the bloody spoilers, and Andy's kind of our star man. So he'll be with us on Tuesday, and we're going to be reviewing the episode. He's been with us the whole time through it, and he's a proper obsessed.
Through it, you talk as if it's well, I suppose it was. For how many years has it been on?
Well, see, the books were written in the 90s.
Okay.
And the books kind of stopped around 2011, and I know we might get into some of the disappointments and stuff that some fans are experiencing, but the TV show has been running since about 2010-11, so it's a couple of years, you know.
Is it, would you say, now just from talking to people who are mad into it, would you say it's the biggest phenomenon when it comes to with TV programmes, certainly in our lifetime?
I don't know about our lifetime, so I'm 26. For me, probably yes, but like I actually, funnily enough, started watching The Sopranos probably watched the first episode for the third time, but I never probably got into it. But I want to probably see it now and see, you know, where does that stand in terms of it. Like, but I think with Game of Thrones, one of the things that we've seen is that the amount of reviews and podcasts and analysis done on these episodes is just it's remarkable. I think, you know, George R.R. Martin obviously created a universe, and when you listen to our podcast, you've got somebody like Andy Lee who's analysing the characters in Game of Thrones just like he might analyse a heavyweight boxer. Well,
so the people who like Game of Thrones are obsessed with it. Are you obsessed with it?
I don't know. I am obviously obsessed in a way.
Well, how excited are you about this last episode that you haven't seen yet?
For me, it's you mentioned the word ordeal earlier on, Jeremy. Like it's kind of at this stage, it's getting to the fact that it's an ordeal. It's been going on for so long. I actually watched the whole thing back. My girlfriend had never watched it before, and I was like, "Look, we're doing this podcast. You're going to have to watch it with me. We'll have nothing to talk about for 2 months." Saying,
it must be hell in a relationship where one of you is mad into the programme, the other has no interest in the programme. Is she fed up with you talking about it?
Actually, do you know what? Right, so she was watching it from the start, and I think if you've never watched it before, right?
Never.
Would you ever think about watching it?
Here's how I feel about it. I feel like the ship has sailed, and probably if I I should have watched it when everybody else was watching it, and now that it's over, why would I bother?
I don't know. I don't know if the ship has sailed. You actually might get a bit of breathing room now. I think at the minute, if anyone's kind of not interested in it, you can feel a bit alienated by it because people are so obsessed and there's so many people talking about it. Like, I have a battle every morning avoiding spoilers. I've had 2 of the episodes spoiled to me by The Ringer in America just by tweeting GIFs. You know, so like I've been trying to avoid it the whole time.
Is there something in the last episode that, obviously we're not going to mention spoilers, but did something big happen?
I have no idea, Jeremy. I've completely avoided it so far, so I'm hoping not to know. But do you know what I've seen? I've seen some people's reactions who I'd follow and I'd know, and they look disappointed. I've seen other people who are just like, what the hell is that? So, you know, all of that to me is a spoiler, like, so I'm trying to avoid it all morning. But like, in terms of watching it with somebody who's never watched it before, when I watched it back, the thing with it is that you've got to kind of be invested in it, and it takes a little while to get through it. Same with any TV show that has loads of characters. It takes a little while to find out what's happening behind the scenes and what makes it tick, you know.
If you were to, for people like myself, and not everybody is a Game of Thrones watcher, for people like myself and other people, how would you...
Nice pun there, that was probably unintended, was it?
Yeah, it was. How would you sum up what Game of Thrones is? So, I've just arrived from Mars, okay? I know nothing about the programme. How would you sum it up in one sentence? What is it?
Well, for me, so Game of Thrones, right? When some people kind of rubbish it, they say, "Oh, it's about dragons and magic and all that." Well, it really isn't. Like, it's about.
Are there dragons in it?
Well, there are. Well, that's not a major spoiler. Like, you'll see it anyway. Like, but like, it's a what it does is it kind of reflects society and the character acts of some of these characters go on. You initially start off hating them, and then they go on and they do something. You're like, do you know what? Maybe they're not as bad as I initially thought they were. Then they'll do something brilliantly noble and they'll save somebody, and next thing they'll do something vicious again, and you'd be like, it's kind of like a journey you're going on with these characters, and they probably reflect what people are like, because we're all good, we're all bad, there's bits of good, bad, and everybody, like, so it's kind of a bit of that. I think people see a lot of that. And then,
you're really invested in these characters, by the way, I can tell, but you're going on as if they're real people, aren't you? You get excited talking about it.
That's the beauty of it. It's kind of, you tune out from the real world and you can kind of get invested in something like this. I think that's why people care about stuff like this.
Okay, what now? The last episode aired this morning, this morning. You haven't watched it yet. You're going to watch it today, I assume.
Yeah, I've got it on recorded, like, so I'm going to go home and watch it maybe
on your own now, or
no, actually it'll probably be the first time I get to watch it with my girlfriend, because we had the podcast together. So we had the podcast with the lads and we'd watch it, me and Owen Sheehan, we'd watch it straight after our morning breakfast show, OTB AM, down in the studio. So we were getting away with that for about an hour every day.
Okay,
but today we're going to watch it after the show, and we'll be ready to go again tomorrow morning. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing it spoiler free and actually on a big TV instead of watching it on the phone like the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's not the same. Now, life after GOT, is there life after GOT? What happens now? I mean, I assume there's a lot of people who woke up after watching it last night and now they're like, okay, that's over now.
I don't know. Well, I think there's big anticipation for the books. So the TV show overlapped the books, and a lot of the issues have kind of stemmed from that the writers have taken over from a guy that created it, and they haven't been able to do it justice in a lot of people's eyes. So there's going to be new books. Apparently there's going to be spin-off series, but I don't know if you've ever done the tours up north, Jeremy, of like the Game of Thrones tours.
You know what, I was busy that day when I was in Belfast. I was busy doing other things.
It's not even Belfast. I'm talking about when you go to the Giant's Causeway and there's the Carrick-a-Reid rope bridge, right? I've done that, and I hadn't realised that there was all these beautiful scenes and cliffs and everything that are they're part of the series, like, but not really, because they have all these CGI graphics and everything. But there's a remarkable kind of tour of the Game of Thrones territory up north. It's phenomenal, and it brings you all around the north, kind of the undiscovered parts. And
I've been on the bridge. I've been on the road bridge.
But they're making so much money from that up there. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I'm sure I know people who've come over from the States who are such fans of the programme just to see the different places. And in fairness to Northern Ireland tourism, they do it very well. There's posters everywhere. Visit Game of Thrones. Visit see where.
Taking advantage of it. So I think there's going to be loads of spin-offs, because this universe can go anywhere. So hopefully there will. Bring it on. Hopefully it'll be a bit better than the last season has been, because I think the last season has been a bit of a disappointment. Okay, Tommy Rooney from the Off the Wall Game of Thrones podcast. Thanks very much for joining us in the studio. Cheers, Jeremy. And I'd like to hear from you. 6797981. You can call us or text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. As you can hear, he's very he's a big fan. Let's have a listen to this voice note.
Thrones. My kids are after chasing me out of the house because I said I could tell them what happened at the end of Games of Thrones, only from saying on social media. They ran me out of the house. Now, there's I just want to tell you, this is a spoiler-free zone. There's drama queen section saying, oh, I'm switching off the show, I don't want spoilers. We said we're not giving spoilers, okay? We're not giving spoilers. So stop with the drama queens, okay? This isn't Game of Thrones here, okay? But if you did stay up to watch us, I'd like to hear from you. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. Sinead, how are you?
Morning, Jeremy, how are you?
Grand, did you stay up last night?
I didn't stay up, but I will be. You know, it's recorded. Obviously, they're ready to go when I'm free to watch it, and I'm a bit nervous, I have to say. I don't know whether I want to watch it. I don't know whether I want to believe this is the end. This is the last episode. Like,
why? Has it impacted that much on your life that you're that devastated about it?
Yeah, like my brother would be a huge Game of Thrones fan as well, and he has read the books. I haven't read the books, but he has read the books. And he would say, you know, I have a healthy obsession. And I would call it a healthy obsession because it's the only way to describe it.
And has there been any other TV programme in your life that's impacted you as much as Game of Thrones has?
No, I've never ever become so engrossed in a TV show that it has become living from one end of the week to the next, waiting on the next episode.
Really? That's what it's like?
There's no TV show that has ever gripped me the way this has. Now, I mean, obviously, you know, we all have our favourite TV shows that we watch, and, you know, some of them are still running, but there's none that has got me like this, that it's, you know, you're counting down the days from Monday to Monday because you just can't wait to see what's going to happen in the next episode.
I have to say, I've never had a TV programme in my life that I felt that way about. And the problem about feeling that way about a programme is when it ends, your life feels empty afterwards.
Yeah, it's the devastation. Like, I'm sitting here, and as much as I want to know what's going to happen and how it's going to end, I also don't want to know, because it's that, like, oh shit, what am I going to do on Monday?
And who watched it in your house?
Oh, we all watch it. Me, my brother, my mother, my brother's girlfriends. Like, we're all fans.
Oh, so it's a big family get-together thing to watch it, is it?
Yeah, like, we all sit down and watch it together. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a family thing. It really has become one of those, you know, it's a cult. It's literally a cult. You know, and you have to drop all your plans of a Monday because Game of Thrones is on and we all sit and watch it together. So don't make any plans. Really?
So if somebody, say, on an average Monday had invited you over to their house to, I don't know, for a meal or something like that, you wouldn't go if you couldn't watch the programme?
Jeremy, I turn my phone off and all when Game of Thrones is on, so people can't ring me or text me.
Wow.
My phone and all goes off because...
She's a fan, by the way.
My friends would be, I'm going to ring you, you know, and this and that, and they would be, you know, bad enough to ring. So just check my head. And no, the phone and everything goes off. There's no distractions. The curtains get closed, you know, even if it's still bright, the curtains and all get closed. Everything, the outside world gets shut off so that I can focus on Game of Thrones.
Okay, well, I hope you're not disappointed after watching the last episode. You're going to watch it today when you get home, are you?
Yeah, we're going to watch it tonight, yeah, all of us, when we're all ready to sit down.
Yeah, you see, I think no matter what happens in the last episode, people are going to be disappointed because it's not going to live up to their expectations.
Yeah.
And one final question, is it too late for me to get on the bus because I've never seen an episode?
No, because I actually think you would appreciate it more now because you have the time to sit and enjoy it. You know, you're not sitting there waiting from Monday to Monday, waiting to see what's going to happen. You have the free reign now where you can sit and watch them all back to back and you can binge watch them.
I just don't... where do you find the time? Where do people find the time to binge watch these things?
Come here, trust me, Jeremy, once you get into it, once you actually start, and you need to give at least 5 episodes because there's so many characters and they all belong to different houses, and you need to familiarise yourself with who belongs to what house and all of this. And once that sinks in, I'm telling you, you'll be a Game of Thrones fan.
Okay, thanks, Sinead. The best of luck with the last episode. Let me go very quickly to Jenny. How are you, Jenny?
Hey, Jane.
Or Jeannie? Is it Jeannie?
Yeah, it's Jean.
Just like the woman in the bottle.
That's it, exactly.
I dream of Jeannie. Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
No, never watched it. Never going to watch it. I've no intention of even going there.
You know what, Jeannie? I thought I was the only person who's never seen an episode, and I kind of feel completely left out when I hear people talking about it. But you're the same, are you?
Oh yeah. No. Listen, I did. I liked the likes of Harry Potter, which is fine. Just watch those movies. But getting into Game of Thrones, never. Not a hope. I
have the feeling now. I've never watched an episode, but I'm just going on what I thought it was for kids. It's like a fantasy program or something. Game of Thrones, just dragons and stuff like that.
Oh, not my cup of tea whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm terrified of dragons as well. Terrified of dragons. So it probably wouldn't be a program for me. But you're obsessed with that one on YouTube, Cobra Kai, isn't it?
Yes, Cobra Kai. Oh my God, I had never watched it up till last week, and I spent one day watching the 2 series of it, and there's 10 episodes in each series.
Now, for those people who don't know what Cobra Kai is, it's the revamp of the Karate Kid. So it's the Karate Kid is now in his 50s, and he's grown up, and his arch enemy from the original Karate Kid movie is now running a karate club or something like that, isn't it?
That's right. He's running his own Cobra Kai club. Johnny Lawrence is the character's name. Where he was a bad guy in the original films, he's actually trying to be a nice person in the episodes of Cobra Kai.
He's the fella who Daniel's son beats in the final, isn't it? With the blonde hair. Yeah, that's him.
Yes.
I've seen a trailer for Cobra Kai, and I'm going to get around to watching it, but you're obsessed with that, are you? Completely obsessed?
Absolutely. Season 3 won't be out until, I think it's April of next year, and I'm dying for it.
Thanks very much, Jeannie. She can't wait. And one final call very quickly. Michael, your Game of Thrones, yes or no?
No.
Never seen an episode?
No. I had my fill of dragons and magic when I watched Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's what it seems to me. It seems very Lord of the Rings. But the new series that you're hooked on already, I saw a trailer for it on Sky, and I just haven't got around to watching it yet. It's Chernobyl, of course, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're not into, like... Oh, it's gross, man. It's freaky. Like, it's freaky. To think that this was, like, somebody's reality, it's mental.
Now, for people who don't know, it's obviously about the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, which took place in 84. God, it was that long ago. And the trailer, it's a Sky One original, and the trailer...
Oh, no, it's HBO's. It's
is it? I thought it was a Sky original.
No, it's on Sky Atlantic, but it's HBO's. Anyway, they churning out some quality television, like. I
think for people who say TV nowadays is crap compared to years ago, I disagree. I think television nowadays, they are producing such great stuff. Television nowadays is absolutely amazing. It really is. It's quality stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, quality. From I got hooked on say The Sopranos, and Breaking Bad was brilliant.
All those programs,
yeah, television's brilliant.
All those Netflix programs, Narcos and all that. I mean, they're just. Do you think you'll start watching Game of Thrones now that it's all over? Will you go back to
yeah, probably. I'll probably bang it all out in a month or so and tell nobody I watched it. Like.
Yeah, see, I think, thanks for your call, Michael. I think because it's now over, that ship has sailed, I just don't think I could be arsed now, to be honest with you, watching it. I mean, I can't invest in any TV programme, really. You know, I remember Adrian for years was banging on about 24, that one with Kiefer Sutherland, and I never watched that. And then he was banging on about the one with Kevin Spacey. He's the president. What's that one called, guys? Kevin Spacey, the president? House of Cards. Every week Adrian will come in. Did you see House of Cards? I can't invest. I don't have the time or the willpower or anything like that to invest in a TV series. I did it once for Narcos. Watched the whole of Narcos over Christmas, and it was absolutely brilliant. But as regards Game of Thrones, I'm sorry, it does nothing for me. Back after the break. Don't go away. Very interesting conversation about a woman and her Tinder profile.
98FM's
Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less.
98FM.
It's 98FM's Dublin Talk, start of a brand new week here on the show. I hope you're enjoying your lovely, bright, sunny Monday morning. This is Jeremy Dixon with you until midday today. Now, just a couple of WhatsApp voice notes to wrap up it on our last discussion, which was, of course, about the phenomenon that is Game of Thrones. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp.
Yeah, Jeremy, Game of Thrones, absolutely fabulous programme. Any real fans stayed up at 2 o'clock last night to watch it on Sky Atlantic. I think that anyone who hasn't watched it and is waiting for today isn't a real fan.
Okay, so if you're a real fan, you would have stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning, even if you're up at 6 for work the next day.
Jeremy, just a quick note on the Game of Thrones stuff. I only start watching all of them when the new season came out because of the hype around it and stuff. I'm now halfway through season 5, nearly on season 6, and I absolutely love it. Everything about it, the shocks that you get, you actually really do get invested in it, and you do be watching it going, go on, kill him. Oh no, go on, kill him. Like, it's It's weird. It's just really, really weird, but it's very good.
Okay. It's like he's being paid by them to say lovely things about the show. There's a man who's really, really invested in the TV programme. Anyway, if you have watched the episode already, or if you're looking forward to watching it today, enjoy, and I hope it lives up to all your expectations.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
Now, here's an issue that a lot of you listening have probably had to face at some stage. So, if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, or even your 40s, and you're single and you're on the dating game and you're looking for love, the chances are the person that you will meet will probably have children from a previous relationship. I know a mate of mine who's, he's 32 now, and he dates on Tinder. And he's saying every single woman nowadays has a child from her previous relationship. That's just the way that it is. But should you be upfront online when setting up a profile for a dating app like Tinder? Em has been in contact with us, and she has a very interesting dilemma that we argued about this morning in our pre-show meeting about whether she should do this or whether or not she shouldn't do this, and we were kind of split 50-50 on it. So here's Em's situation. She's getting back on the dating scene. Was in a relationship. Here's the thing. She has 2 children from a previous relationship, and she's unsure as to whether or not she should put it in her bio that she does have 2 children. I want you to have a very close listen to the message she sent us on Facebook over the weekend. Hi, Dublin Talks. Can you bring this up on the show? I'd like to hear people's opinions. I'm a single mum of 2, 5 and 3. And I've only recently decided to give dating another go. I've been single for over a year, but have decided to go back on the wagon. I know from friends that Tinder seems to be the main way to meet people these days. So over the weekend, I decided to set up a profile. My friend was helping me set it up and was disgusted that I didn't say in my bio that I have kids. I didn't think I had to. I mean, these people will be dating me, not the kids. So I don't see why I should have to put that on Tinder. If I like someone, I'd probably tell them on the first or second date anyway, but I want them to get to know me instead of judging me straight away because I have children. I've noticed that some lads put their kids up in their bio, even have pictures of them in their profiles. I love my kids, but I'm not defined by them, and I don't think they should be on my dating profile. Am I wrong not to put them on my bio? What do other mums think? And that is from a listener who just wants to be known as M-E-M. First of all, thanks for contacting us. If you want to contact us about a subject, I know a lot of you do. If you want to contact us about any topic you want brought up in the show, facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D is the best way. Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. So there you have M's situation. Back on the dating wagon, setting up a Tinder profile. And now I'm not on Tinder, but I've seen the way the profiles look. And you can obviously put in your bio whether or not you have children or not, and she has decided not to put it on her Twitter or on her Tinder profile. Is she right or wrong? And I'm kind of thinking, by not putting it on your Tinder profile, are you not sort of denying that you have children? Are you not falsely selling who you actually are? If you are in this situation, which many of you are, where you're a girl or a fella, by the way, I mean, there's such a thing. For every single mother, there's a single father. If you are someone who has children from a previous relationship and you're setting up a profile on a dating app like Tinder, do you tell people up front, yes, I have children? I'd love to hear from you on this. Em is looking for advice. She wants to know whether she should put it up on her profile or not. She decided not to. I'd like to hear from you. Text or WhatsApp us. 0877 98 98 98, 0877 98 98 98, or call us on 6797 981, 6797 981. Let me go to Bart first of all. How are you, Bart? You're on 98FM.
How are you doing, Jeremy?
How are things?
Yeah, it's good.
Now, you commented on our Facebook post on the page all about this, about women and men putting up the fact that they have children on their dating profiles. What did you say?
Well, I think it should be obvious to state that you have children, because if you don't, you're kind of hiding that fact. And what happened to me, I went with a girl, I met her on a dating app, and it stated nowhere in her bio that she has kids. went out a couple of times, and then at the end of last date, she goes up and says that she has 2 children, which was sort of a massive deal breaker for me because I liked her. She was a great person, but I don't like kids. I don't even think I want my own kids.
But by the way, which is, and I don't get why people get knocked when they say I don't want kids or I don't like kids. You know, it's not illegal to not want kids, and it's certainly not illegal not to like kids. I know a lot of people who don't like kids. After how many dates had she told you that she had?
5. It was about five dates.
So hang on, you went out on 5 dates with her, and she never mentioned the fact that she had children.
That's right.
How many children does she have?
2.
2 children. So on date number 5, and I assume on date number 5, you thought there was going to be a good relationship in this. She just sprung this on you on the 5th date.
Yeah, she asked me first if I'm interested in kids or do I want kids. I said straight away, I don't like kids. It's not something that is, for me. And then she goes straight away, well, I have 2 kids. I hope that's not a deal breaker.
Oh, God.
It kind of is, like, especially after I told you that I don't like kids.
And did you really like this girl?
I really did, yeah. We had very similar interests. We had same kind of music type we were listening to. So,
And how far had the relationship gone? Without trying to get, I am getting personal. Had the relationship got physical? Like, had you?
Not yet. But it was getting close to that.
It's heading that
we
way.
had made out a couple of times, but that's about it. Nothing, physical.
But Bart, you obviously dumped this woman now purely was it because she had 2 children? Because she lied to you about having the children?
It was a bit of both. Like, why would you hide the fact that you have 2 children? Like, that seems a little bit stupid to me. Because if you have kids and you don't tell them to someone, it looks like you're ashamed of them. You're ashamed of having them.
You see, I do think she should have told you before the 5th date. That's a bit crazy. But as well, I think you've been so judgmental that you should have given her a chance. Would you not like to have met her children to see if you like them? Maybe.
Not really. No.
Oh, okay. Do you have cousins or nephews or nieces? Do you have any children in your life?
Not really, no. I have neighbour kids. They're a pain in the ass.
Okay, you hate them as well. Okay, I get it. You just don't like children. You never want children. You certainly don't want to be with a woman that has 2 children. And you're after pretty much getting rid of a woman that could have been a good relationship for you, all because she has 2 children.
Yeah. Like,
it's a bit shallow. It's a bit shallow, isn't it, Bart?
It maybe is, but I don't want to deal with all of that. Like, even if we would want to go somewhere, go for holidays or go for a night out, go to a concert, we have to plan everything around the kids. Because if she has no one to stay with the kids, we can't go, obviously. Imagine we're going on holidays, the kid gets sick or something like that.
So the thoughts of you going...
We're stuck.
The thoughts of... this girl who you were mad about, and you were mad about her, weren't you?
In a way, yes.
Yeah, okay, so this girl who you'd kind of fallen for, you couldn't imagine going on holidays with her and her 2 children tagging along?
No way.
Okay.
I see. Recently I was on holidays and I saw there was people in the hotel room right beside me, and they had 2 kids. There was constant shouting, there was constant arguing and everything. That just puts you off straight away, even more.
Okay, I hear you. So you think that a woman or a man should have to put on their dating profile that they have children?
Yes.
Okay, stay there for a second, Bart. I'm sure a lot of people will want to talk to you. If you are one of those people, 6, 7, 9... I'm not reading out some of the texts that are coming in about Bart. At least he's being honest. He is saying what he wants in a relationship. He's being completely honest. But I don't know if Erica will see that way. Let's go to Rathfarnham. Erica, how are you?
Hi. Well, I think what happened to Bart was a bit extreme, to be honest. 5 dates.
Yes.
Like, I just don't think it's appropriate. I don't think there's a need to put it on public. But if someone shows interest in you and you're messaging each other privately, and then you can, you say, well, I have got children. I didn't put it on public because I feel nervous about doing that. I don't see what's the problem there. And I don't think they're really you're not putting people off too much. If they're contacting you and the first time they're contacting you're talking privately, then to disclose you have children. I don't really see the need to put it on public.
Well, you see, here's the thing, Erica. If you have children, you should be proud of your children, and you shouldn't try and keep them. And I agree with Bart to that extent. You shouldn't keep that a secret.
Oh no, 100%. My reasons wouldn't be because of that. My reasons would be I'd be afraid that weirdos, these pedos, are looking online. You know, they're combing through profiles.
No, we're not talking about putting photographs up. We're just putting in your bio that you have children.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's not putting up photographs. You have people like you're commenting there, and they say, "Oh, I put up. I wouldn't put up pictures, but I'd say that I have kids." Really, it's the kind of same thing, isn't it? Like you're going to attract these weirdos. There is people there that are combing through profiles.
And
that is their agenda. You know, I don't see the problem. I don't think it's lying or hiding the kids. Like I said, as soon as somebody is contacting you privately. You know.
I'm sorry. Do you have children yourself? Do you have children yourself, Erica?
I do. Yeah.
And are you single or in a relationship?
No, in a relationship at the minute.
No, supposing that relationship broke down tomorrow. I hope it doesn't. Yeah. And you ended up having to go back on the dating scene. You wouldn't put it on any of your dating profiles.
No. I tried it before. Well, I had kids. I went on and for about a week. I tried one of these out. I put it up, and when them questions came up, I was sitting there, I was like, God, what will I write on this? And I didn't want to disclose it. I was afraid that maybe I could attract the wrong kind of people. You know, I think it's just nowadays and things that you do see online. And I think like there was one fella caught by them groups down in Kildare, and he was on Tinder, you know, and he was caught, and he was basically he was attracted to girls, he was coming through, and he was messing people that had children for them reasons. I just don't see a need for it. I don't think it's hiding the fact that you have children. Like I said, if someone spoke to me privately, even through the first messages, I disclose straight away I have children, and I'm just taking out that kind of risk factor by not putting it up public, you know?
Okay, stay there for a second, please, Erica, and Bart, stay there as well. Just one question for you, Bart, very quickly. Does Bart put up on his bio, I assume you're on Tinder, are you, Bart?
I am on Tinder, yes.
You are. Do you have in your bio that you hate children? One person wants to know.
I don't have it on my bio, but on Badu, which is another dating site, I do have that I don't want children. It states on my profile that I don't want any children.
But it doesn't say because you can't, or do you hate children? Would you use the word hate? Is that too strong a word?
It's not hate, but I just don't like them. I don't want to deal with the kids, with the mess.
I know, they are.
Anything like that.
Okay, stay there for a second. They do take up a lot of time. I'll go to Jay straight after the break. Don't go away. If you want to get in on this, 6797 981, you can text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. We're talking to Bart. Well, we're talking about Em's dilemma. Em is back on the dating scene, and she wants to know whether or not she should post the fact that she has 2 children up on her dating profile. We're talking to Bart, who doesn't have a lot of time for children and thinks that people should be upfront on the dating scene. And if you have a Tinder profile and you have children, put it on your profile. Don't go away.
98FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.
It's 98FM's Dublin Talks with Jeremy Dixon here for a Monday morning. We're in the middle of a conversation about whether or not you should reveal on your dating profiles that you have children. Emma was in contact with us. She's recently single, has 2 children, 5 and 3, but hasn't put it on her Tinder profile. And we're also talking to Bart, who says they should put it on their profiles because he doesn't like children and he wants to avoid you like the plague if you do have them. Let me go to Laura. How are you, Laura?
Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm not too bad at all. Now, what do you want to say about this?
I agree with Bert. I completely agree with Bert. I would not want to meet anyone on Tinder that has no interest in, you know, if I'm on Tinder, I have kids. I openly say in my profile I have kids. Now, I do not want to sit and waste my time talking to someone or waste my time going out on dates with someone, then to awkwardly have to reveal then, oh, by the way, I have kids, and then go, oh, that's a deal breaker. Yeah, I don't want to invest. In
other words, you don't want to invest time in someone like Bart who has no interest in someone like you because you have children. I mean, why would you waste your time?
He's probably a lovely, lovely guy.
Really?
But
really?
Well, in fairness, some people just don't like kids.
I know that.
That's fine.
I know, but the fact that he dumped a woman after 5 dates because she had children is a bit harsh.
Well, in fairness, she should have been up front.
Oh, I'm taken aback, Laura. I thought this was going to go the other way, and I'm completely taken aback by the fact that people like, and especially from a woman that you're saying it as well.
That's just my opinion on it. I don't want to waste my time with someone that has no interest in a relationship that moves forward. And a relationship, ultimately, like, end goal, I suppose, is probably live together, possibly get married, that kind of mess. And that's going to involve my kids. And if someone does not like kids or want to be around kids, that's a deal breaker for me.
Okay, Laura. Supposing, what does it say on your Tinder profile about children? Does it say how many you have, or what does it say?
No, it just says that I have kids.
Okay, just I have kids.
I do have kids.
Okay. Now, supposing I'm of the mind, and I'm not, by the way, I'm of the mind that I'm not interested in a woman that has children. So I'm not interested in you. So I will not even give you a chance. I won't even go out on a date with you. I will simply not match you. I will move on because I'm not interested in you. I'm not even giving you a chance. I'm not getting to, because I'm letting my prejudice get in the way, and I'm not giving you a chance.
But I wouldn't want to be with someone that has that prejudice.
In the first place?
In the first place. Why would I waste my time with someone that has that prejudice?
I can't answer that question. You're absolutely spot on.
That's the way I see it. I'm sure, as I said.
But sorry, Laura, give them time to get to know you rather than judging you as a package.
And that's fine. Get to know me. And you like me, you won't like me, whatever. But at the end of the day, I am that package. If you want to be with me long term, you have to accept the fact that I have kids and they're my priority in life.
And it's 2 children, is it?
Yeah.
You see, I think this is where a lot of men are quite childish sometimes, and I know from talking to mates of mine who are on the dating scene, and they say, well, if I get in a relationship with you, Laura, I'll never be the priority. And you've said it yourself. You've said and by the way, your children should be your priority.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Anyone that has children, the children should be the priority. Now, whether they're single or whether they're married, a married couple, the children should be their priority. And that's just my opinion on that. And there's nothing worse than someone going out and meeting someone and all of a sudden it's the child's pushed to one side. I've seen it with friends, men and women, and it's not a nice thing to see.
Okay, now how restrictive, you're on the dating scene, how restrictive would you be if you got with a man next week as regards, getting the children minded and stuff like that? In other words, would
my children are slightly older.
Okay.
As in, I had my eldest when I was very young, so he's actually almost 18. So babysitters and stuff like that would not be an issue. Plus, I have a really good family. You know what I mean? So that kind of thing wouldn't be an issue. But at the end of the day, if my child's sick, I'm going to stay at home with them.
Absolutely, and who wouldn't?
Exactly, and someone that I'm dating needs to understand that.
So Bart is spot on, is he, with his attitude?
I think he is. Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. He's, from the way he's speaking, he's not someone that I'd be interested in dating. But yeah, I think he's right.
Okay, stay there for a second. Let me go to Cherry Orchard next. And Jay, sorry for holding you for so long, Jay. How are things?
Grand, Jeremy.
So everybody believes that women and men, this isn't just about women, that men and women who have children should be upfront.
Definitely upfront about it.
Are you single? Are you single yourself?
I am.
And do you have children?
I don't.
Would you be interested in someone who has children?
It wouldn't be a problem for me. Honestly, it wouldn't matter to me whether she has...
Sorry, it's very hard to hear you, Jay. Can you? The phone is muffled.
I said it wouldn't matter to me if she had kids or not.
What, even if she had 5 kids?
Yeah, it wouldn't be an issue for me, personally. But what would be an issue would be if I swiped right on someone's picture that said that she didn't have kids, and then to find out that she does. That'd be the end of it, because straight away you'll know that she's prepared to lie to get what she wants.
That's not lying. But
it is lying.
It's not really.
No, but it is really.
Well, it's not, because you're not.
But it is.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if you say you haven't got something and you have, that's a lie. End of.
But to not reveal a piece of information on your dating profile is not really lying. In other words,
if she didn't reveal that information before I met her, it's lying. End of. If she put down on her dating profile she does not have kids, and she does, it's a lie. and she's prepared to lie to get what she wants, I wouldn't trust her.
No, she's not. She's not prepared. God, am I the only one does anybody else agree with what I'm saying? I'm getting quite frustrated here with the fact that I'm alone here, in that what I'm saying is, by not putting yes, I get it, you should be proud of the fact that you have children, absolutely. But do you not want the person who you're trying to attract to get to know you first, without judging? And I know what Laura was saying. She doesn't want to be in a relationship with someone who would judge you for having children. But let the person get to know you first as a singular person without judging the whole package.
Not a single person, but that's the thing. She's not a single person. She's a mother. She has kids. Kids are part of her. And the woman saying the kids don't define me, they don't define her, but they're a major part of our life until they're 18.
Well, Laura, I think you could have quite a normal relationship without your kids getting in the way, could you?
My kids never get in the way. That's a horrible way to put it.
No, I don't mean it that way. But what I'm saying is, supposing you got into a relationship with someone next week and you wanted to go away for a weekend, a romantic weekend with just you and your phone, that wouldn't be a problem.
No, it wouldn't be a problem. But at the same time, my kids are still my kids, and they have to accept the fact that I have kids. It's as simple as that. My kids are my priority. That's the way it is.
And you know what? It's a beautiful thing to hear somebody saying that, because so many people don't prioritise their children. Stay there for a second. 679 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp your comments to 0877 98 98 98. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note from one of you.
Hi, I think that the girl should just be honest. There's no need to put our kids' pictures up online, but definitely from the start needs to be honest to say that she has children. There's no need starting off with kind of lies. If a guy got online and started off with a lie, girls would be quick enough to, say that typical guys lying and stuff. But yeah, just be honest. Start it off being honest, and I wish her best of luck online.
And take more of your opinions straight after the break. Don't go away. It's 98FM's Dublin Talks with Jeremy Dixon here for this Monday. Just gone 11 o'clock. And sorry, it's normally Trish, but Georgie's here with the top story.
Thanks, Jeremy. Good morning. There's calls for an investment scheme to attract and retain staff in creches around the country. Comes after reports of a shortage of places in childcare facilities as a result of the free childcare scheme for 3 to 5-year-olds. Protected species of birds and bats could affect the route and design of bus corridors in the city. The NTA has issued a tender for environmental and transport impact assessments to be carried out on the 16 routes. And we got a text. The popular reality show Love Island will return on Monday, June 3rd. ITV confirmed the news in a tweet this morning. Now you're up to date on 98.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Into hour 2 of the show. Good morning. It's 98FM's Dublin Talks with Jeremy Dixon here until midday today. Our text or WhatsApp number 087 798 98 98. 087 798 98 98. We're just going to take a couple more calls on this and wrap up on this discussion about whether or not you should put the fact that you have children on your dating profile. If you are on one of these dating profiles and you have children, do you put it up there? Should it be put on your dating profile? And what I'm seeing is a lot of judgment coming in here. I want to read out this message. Why would any man want to raise another man's child or another woman's bad decisions? I'll pay to raise your kids, and if we split up, I'll never see them. Yeah, that sounds like a great plan. Women have been lied to. You can't have it all. Nobody can, male or female. To that person, I assume that's a man that texted in. No woman that has children wants you as the child's father. I'm sure the child has a father. You won't be paying to raise the children. I'm sure the father will be paying to raise the child. You have a very immature attitude. And let me tell you this, if you're on the dating scene in Dublin, you'd want to get your act together, because a lot of the people you will come across will have children from a previous relationship. Let me go to Alison. How are you, Alison?
Hi, how's it going?
Grand, that attitude annoys me. Why would I want to raise another man's child?
I have one son myself. I'm not with the father of my child anymore. Now, I am in a relationship with someone else for 5 years. And like that, he stepped in. He never had an issue with it. He didn't see it as if he was kind of taking away his father's place or having to take responsibility. But at the same time, just with the whole profile thing, having to expose that you have children, I don't feel like it's necessary that a woman puts that up straight away.
Or a man, by the way, because we're not just...
Or a man, yeah, exactly. Like, if it goes for women, then it should go for men too. But, like, I'm not on any dating profiles or anything. I don't really understand the way they go. But, like I said, I'm in a relationship 5 years, but I do have friends that are on them, and I don't feel the need as to why they should put that up. I mean, if they get talking to someone, then be honest about it.
So they have a lot of your friends who have children and are single. They put on their profile, you know, that they have.
They just put up that, like, they just, like, at the end of the day, they're showcasing themselves or whatever you want to call it.
It's not that's them. What it is.
If they get into a conversation with someone, then they'll say, you know, oh, I have a child, or I may have 2 kids, whatever it is, and their situation. But I don't understand why a parent needs to do that straight away. Because if that's the case, there are more important issues. Like, there's far more things to fear, I think, on them platforms than whether or not someone has a child. Like, you could be getting in contact with someone who has a history of violence. If that's the case, then maybe people need to be putting that up. If we're socially expected to go exposing ourselves, then fully expose yourself.
So, in other words, don't give them everything straight off the bat. Keep a little bit of information.
At the end of the day, that person is still a stranger. So why would you give them everything off the bat? You'd want to get, like, talking to them in some sort of a conversation where you can feel it out. And
exactly. In the same way, and I know it's completely different, but in the same way you wouldn't put up on a profile that you... I know Bart did, but you wouldn't put up on a profile that you hate kids. You wouldn't put up on a profile that you know you don't want to have any more children. You wouldn't put up on a profile that you can't have children. You wouldn't put any of that stuff up.
Exactly. That's personal information that you don't need to throw out there for the whole world to see. If you get to know someone and you trust them, then you can expose that part of yourself. But, like, we're all raised in a way where it's like, don't expose yourself to strangers, don't talk to strangers. If you're going throwing all your information up on a dating platform, I don't see how that's any different.
Having said that, though, Alison, a lot of people are selling themselves falsely on Tinder. I mean, one of the lads we were... That's social media. People falsely sell themselves on every platform. One of our mates is single and he's on Tinder and he goes on dates on Tinder and he says that 9 times out of 10, the girls he ends up meeting in bars that he's matched on Tinder, they look nothing like their Tinder profile because they put so much filter on it. They've made themselves look taller or skinnier or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And then he ends up meeting them and it's like, oh, okay, this isn't the Alison that I was talking to on Tinder. You look completely different.
But that's with every platform. Like, I don't know anybody who looks like in real life what they do on their Instagram.
Yeah, nobody looks like that.
It's like if you met a model who's on the front of a magazine in real life, you're going to think the same thing.
Yeah, sure. I look about, on my social media account, I look about 20 years of age. Thanks very much, Alison. One last call on this. Let's go to Clontarf and Kieran. How are you, Kieran?
How's it going, Adrian? Jeremy.
No worries. You think both people need to be up front?
Well, for every mother, there's a father.
Yep.
No one to call out on the fathers. Where it's not as obvious with the fathers half the time as well, because the child generally is with the mother. So if the father wanted to hide it, he could really hide it. For a single mother, it's going to be a lot harder, because generally they're with the child a lot more than the men. That's just the way it is in our society. And I mean, there should be, if you're going to call for women to put on their profile, call for the men to put on their profile.
Absolutely. No, I do agree with the point that you're making. It's easier for a single father than it is for a single mother because, you know, as you said, the child is generally with the mother for the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. So it's easier for a father to get on the dating scene. Are you single yourself or are you in a relationship?
Do you know what? It's funny. I'm just recently single, but I've been in a relationship for the last maybe 4 years there with a woman who had a daughter who's not my child. Now, for me, the situation was a lot easier. The child never knew her father. She's coming up into her teens now. But I have to say that child is the best part of that relationship. The part that came out the best part of that relationship for me. Like, our relationship has ended now, and obviously I enjoyed our relationship. But
I'm sorry, are you still in contact with that child?
That's the thing. I am. I grew over the years very close to the child and the mother, of course. Well, things have to come to an end, unfortunately, with the mother. But me and the child really connected and bonded. Now, have I any right to walk away from that relationship and never talk to a child again that I've developed a very close personal relationship with? And should I have to? I find if I meet women now and I'm talking, I'm saying, well, you know, what did you do last weekend? I can't go out with you this Saturday because I promised my ex I'd take her daughter to the cinema or something like that, you know? And that can be very off-putting. Should I have to put that on my profile? That, okay, every second weekend I'll take my ex's daughter out to the cinema.
But first of all, Kieran, and I don't want this to sound patronising because it's not, I commend you for the way you've been so grown up about that situation, because you obviously walked into this child's life. It didn't work out with the child's mother. There was no obligation on you, legally or morally, to stay in contact with the child, but you chose to do it when you didn't have to. And that you know what I mean? You should pat yourself on the back.
I owe that to the child, though, because when I met the mother, I have to say I was very irresponsible. I was a little shit. I didn't want children. I had no interest in it. I was going nowhere in my life. But I think when I met this woman, she was a bit older than me as well, which was kind of what she was pushing me the whole time. But when I met that woman, I kind of found a purpose, and I wanted to work harder, and I kind of improved my life and improved my situation. And I owe a lot of that to having the responsibility of wanting to help the child and this woman and look after a child. So I have to pay it back somehow. And it's in the end, what really got between the relationship was we weren't able to have more children, unfortunately. And for me, that was
the breaker, was it?
I at a stage where I want my own children as well, but I'll always love her child as much as I love any of my children.
And that's true. And I hate when people say you can't love someone else's child as much as you could love your own. That's complete bullshit, pardon my French, because I don't know you, Kieran, from Adam. I've never met you before, I assume. And I can tell just from talking to you in 3 minutes that you absolutely love that child as if that child was your own.
Oh yeah, of course. Like that would never change for me at all.
Well, you're to be commended. If only other men were like you, Kieran, the world would be a better place. Thanks very much for talking to us, and thanks for your honesty, Kieran. That is one of the. Having said all that, that is one of the drawbacks. I'm just reading some of the messages coming in that, you know, if you do get into a relationship with someone that has a child, that you end up, if the relationship breaks up, there's no legal rights, or you have no legal rights to stay in contact with that child. So you can get into a relationship with somebody who has a child. You can get to love that child. That child you can treat that child like your own, and then the relationship breaks up, and you have absolutely no legal rights to stay in contact with that child. So what a great story to finish off on, Kieran. Staying in contact with the child, still bringing the child that's not his own, and no obligation on him to do so, but still bringing the child to the cinema. Some very interesting messages on that. I think the bottom line is, if you are on social media or on dating, one of those dating sites on social media, you probably should be upfront about it, because as that girl Alison was saying, and a couple of the other callers were saying, do you really want someone in your life who is going to judge you for having children? There's a lot of you out there at the moment who are single and you have children from previous relationships. That is a part of life. You know, if I broke up with my wife tomorrow, I would be in that situation as well, where I would be a single father with children. And I would really like to think that if I was that person, that I would be honest enough to put it on my dating bio, to let people know, listen, I have a child. I'm proud to say I have a child. If you are interested in going on a date with me, that's the kind of person I am. Thank you very much for all your calls, your comments and your texts. It's 98FM's Dublin Talks.
98FM's Dublin Talks.
This is something that doesn't get discussed a lot in the media, and I want to open up the phone lines to you now with a hope. Okay, here's my hope from this next conversation, that we learn something from it, that we speak to people who have been affected by it, and that we sort of break down the taboo of it. I'm speaking about panic attacks, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been reading a number of stories in the news with celebrities coming out to talk openly about suffering with panic attacks. And it's great to hear, you know, people in the public eye coming out to speak about panic attacks. The Great British Bake Off's Nadia Hussain, the woman who won the Bake Off last year, who I love on the telly, by the way, she came out there last Thursday on a TV programme to speak about her panic attacks and how they can come on at any time and how she's trying to deal with them. Only a couple of weeks previous to that, one of the singers from the Saturdays came out to speak about her panic attacks, and it seems that since these people have come out, more and more people are speaking openly about panic attacks. If you are someone who suffers regularly with panic attacks or occasionally, how does it affect your life? How does it change your life? Does it change the way you do certain things. We were talking to a fella, and it's amazing the calls you remember sometimes from the show. We were talking to a fella on the show about 3 years ago who suffers from occasional panic attacks, and he was saying that he often gets them in supermarkets. And he's terrified of going to supermarkets because the panic attack can just come on when he's in the middle of the aisle of the supermarket, and people around him don't know how to deal with this panic attack because they don't know what's happening. Now, if you want to know how commonplace panic attacks actually are, between 8 and 10% of the population will experience occasional panic attacks. So that means 1 in 10 of you listening to the show at the moment have had one either occasionally or maybe regularly. Panic disorders affect an estimated 150,000 people in Ireland today. This is a big issue. It's a big issue that is affecting a lot of you, and I want to hear from you about it. Joining us on the line to fill us in about this and maybe to give us a better understanding as to what panic attacks are and what a panic disorder is Dr. Greg Herbert, Clinical Director from Spectrum Mental Health. You're very welcome along to 98FM, Greg.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on.
Now, as I said in the introduction, it's something that I'm fascinated about. I suppose fascinated is the wrong word, but it's something that I want to get my head around. I want to understand it more. I have friends who do suffer with panic attacks, and they tell me about it. And they have panic attacks in the strangest of places, and they try to get me to understand what a panic attack is. So let me start by asking you, what is a panic attack?
So a panic attack is there's a clinical definition of a panic attack, and then there's kind of what people refer to as a panic attack. Ultimately, when we're talking about panic attacks, typically we're talking about a relatively brief period of very intense fear. It can sometimes be about something very specific where people kind of know what they're worried about, but an awful lot of the time it's actually more general than that. So they don't actually know why they're worried. They can't identify a kind of a specific trigger. They just have this overwhelming kind of feeling of something is very, very wrong and something needs to change right now. And the more they kind of stay in that, the bigger it gets.
Sorry for cutting across you. One of my friends says that one of the things that happens when he has a panic attack is his chest. He gets these enormous chest pains.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the kind of hallmarks of panic attacks is that you have a lot of these physical symptoms. So you get tightness in your chest, difficulty breathing. Some people will have really high heart rate. They'll get shaking, tingling, that kind of thing. It's often a very kind of physical experience, which people don't understand and they don't know what it is, which is even more terrifying. And that's part of the whole process.
What can trigger a panic attack?
Almost anything, and sometimes seemingly nothing at all. There's actually two types of panic attacks. There's what are called triggered panic attacks and untriggered panic attacks. So sometimes when you're in a triggered panic attack situation, it's something that you are very aware of being scared of, and so you'll kind of work yourself up to a point where you're breathing hard and you're actively panicking. The other kind, which can often actually be even more scary, is it's almost like it comes out of nowhere. Suddenly, everything has just kind of gotten upside down in your head. You're breathing really hard, you're sweating, you may be blushing, shaking, all those things, and you don't actually know why, which obviously is a terrifying experience.
Now, one of the things that I want to get across from this discussion today is the public reaction to panic attacks and what we should do. To be honest with you, I'm always terrified when I'm around friends of mine who suffer with panic attacks. I'm always terrified that will happen when I'm there because, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have a clue what to do. So what should people do if they see a friend or a family member having one?
Yeah, absolutely. So often the first reaction that we have is we need to do something to fix this right now. We have to say something that's the kind of magic words to make them stop panicking right now, which actually can sometimes contribute to the panic attack because it's this kind of sense of, well, I don't know what's going on and I'm having the panic attack and you don't know what's going on and now you're telling me I have to stop, and that's just kind of making things worse. And so the thing that I always encourage people to do if they see someone having a panic attack or they're around someone is to show them that you are calm in this situation. Even if you don't feel calm, you can show that, all right, this is happening and it will pass. the vast majority of panic attacks subside after 10 minutes. They hit a peak within 10 minutes.
Okay, so that's the average. That's interesting. The average amount of time for a panic attack to last is 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And they can go on to 20 or 30, but it's rare for them to ever go beyond maybe like an hour. That would be fairly far out there. But 10 minutes, and essentially reminding them, look, this is okay. I am here with you. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to gently encourage you through this. I'm going to show you that things can be okay, and you will come out the other side of this okay, because ultimately, realistically, we probably only have to wait about 10 minutes. Easier said than done. I recognise that. But ultimately, that's a key part of this.
Now, the one thing, I suppose the one thing that people want to know about this, especially people who suffer with panic attacks, is it possible to beat a panic attack? Is it, what sort of treatment is available? How can people overcome having panic attacks?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing to do is, if you are having panic attacks, the first port of call is typically go to your GP just to rule out there isn't anything medical going on. We have, it's one of those things that it can feel quite medical. Sometimes people will have this feeling that they're going to die or that they're going to lose touch with reality. And because of all the kind of the physical bits that go with it, we always want to just rule out there isn't actually an underlying heart condition or something like that. The GP can do that fairly quickly. After that, it is very, very much possible to overcome these things. So in our network of clinics in Spectrum Mental Health, we work with people who experience panic attacks all the time. People who may have just had one or two, didn't know what they were. People who have suffered from them for years. And essentially, what we do is when people come into us, we walk through. Okay, so help me understand when these happen. What do they look like?
Well, what is the trigger as well? If there is a trigger,
exactly. And if there's a trigger, we can work on that. If there isn't a trigger, when we call them untriggered, there's still a trigger. It's just that trigger is internal. You can't identify it in your environment. And so part of that is kind of understanding what that process is, and then essentially working together to put together a plan of, here are the steps that you take when these things start to occur, so that you can essentially kind of head it off at the pass and prevent it from spiraling. That's typically what we do, and we have pretty good outcome rates around this stuff as well. It's very treatable. It's kind of one of the great tragedies of this, where people don't know what it is and they just kind of think that they're damned with it, but they're really not. We have really good treatments for this stuff.
Okay, so what you're saying is there is help there for people, but you need to go forward. In fact, we'll give it a helpline number at the end of this discussion. Dr. Greg Herbert, Clinical Director for Spectrum Mental Health, thanks very much for talking to us on 98FM and clearing up some of those myths.
Thank you very much, Chairman.
Cheers. I'd like to hear from you. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp your comments to 0877 98 98 98. Panic attacks and anxiety attacks can be debilitating, says this texter who can't come on the air. I only had one last night and thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was that bad. I tried breathing techniques to try get through an attack. Sorry, I can't come on air to talk as I work in the healthcare sector. And people I work with don't know that I suffer with them. That's interesting as well, that people would keep that from colleagues and friends. We're going to be talking to a couple of people straight after the break who do suffer panic attacks quite regularly. I'd like to hear from you. 6797 981 or text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. Do you suffer with panic attacks? Do you have to live with having these panic attacks? How do you cope with them, and have you got help for them? Now's the time to talk about it. The lines are open to you now.
98FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Jeremy Dixon here till midday today on this Monday morning. Let's talk about panic attacks, something that doesn't get aired an awful lot in the media, and I know a lot of you listening do suffer with panic attacks occasionally or regularly. And I'd like to hear from you if you do go through these. How do you cope with it? I want this discussion maybe to shed some light on how people deal with it and how we should deal with it and understand it better if friends or family members have panic attacks. You can text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. And I know a lot of you have already been in contact. We will get to your messages in a moment. Or you can call us on 6797 981. Let me go to Katrina in Tala. How are you, Katrina?
How you doing, Jeremy?
Thanks for coming on the show. I noticed on Facebook when I put this up on Facebook, somebody saying, "Oh, you're not going to get people that suffer with panic attacks talking on the radio. It's not fair to ask them to come on the radio." There seems to be a lot.
I saw that.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of ignorance about it, because I mean, just because you suffer with panic attacks doesn't mean you can't speak to people on the phone and stuff like that. Isn't that right?
Exactly, Jeremy, because like the majority of people I meet nowadays have had a panic attack, or somebody in their family has. It does affect a lot of people, and because it's not speaking openly about, it's kind of covered up or go to the GP. That's why there's a bit of a stigma around it, and it is a mental health issue that is being looked at more now, and I think it needs to be spoken about more so that more people can understand. For example, if you're in the shopping centre, anywhere you could be walking down the street, panic attack doesn't have a time limit. It doesn't say, well, look, we wait till you're home, or it doesn't have a certain type of person that it chooses. So it needs to be more widely talked about so that everyone else can be understanding and supportive to others.
Okay, first of all, tell me, where did you have, name a place in public where you had a panic attack where it probably wasn't, well, nowhere is an ideal place to have it, but where were you? Give me the circumstances when you had
I had 10 panic attacks in the space of 3 weeks in January just gone, and one of them was in the square, and I just like to say, in the square shopping centre, I just like to say, Jeremy, a panic attack doesn't choose it hasn't got a type of person, because I am an energy healer and a psychic medium, and I meditate 3 hours a day, and I nurture myself, and I would say I was shocked that I had a panic attack. How can a person like me? It really brought me back down to level ground as to I'm just human like anybody else, because I was such a self-nurture person. And I couldn't understand, but I was in the square shopping centre and the heart started beating faster. The first sign for me was my legs started going like jelly, shaking. Then it was like it was climbing up my body, and then the heart. Now I have a son with a heart condition, so it was like I was him, and the heart was going so fast. Then the head, my face starts twitching, the jawline and the top of my head. It was like there was something twitching in there. And
sorry, literally you lost control of your body, did you?
Yeah, I felt like I was no longer in that square, and the first immediate thought came to me is run. I had kids with me. Thankfully, I had my daughter with me. I just run. I didn't know where I was running, but I was in that much of a state of panic that I just wanted to run. And it can be a dangerous moment if you don't have a bit of support or someone to say, look, can I have a bit of help here? Even though you probably don't think about asking for help, but it is. I just ran, and every panic attack I had, up till I started to take back control, the immediate response to that heartbeat and that anxiety was run. That's just get out there, run. Don't know where you're going, but just run. And embarrassment as well.
And run to where?
I didn't know at the time. Now I know for example, I'll tell you about one that happened in my house here. I was meditating upstairs, as I do. I was meditating in my room, and within a split second of going into that relaxation state, the heart started beating, the legs were jelly again. One sign that I always get with panic attacks is my face was twitching, your jawbone. And a lot of people with anxiety do get that, thinking they have a nervous problem, but it's just your nervous system is kind of shutting down, it's distorted. So I was upstairs, I ran downstairs, I ran back upstairs, I took control, it eased down. Jeremy, that guy said a panic attack can't last more than an hour. Over the space of 3 hours, the fast heartbeat came, I took water, deep breaths, watched videos, did mindfulness, it came back. It was 3 hours there that I actually thought it was a heart attack. And I rang the hospital. The ambulance came and I went in an ambulance. That's the most severe one I had.
That's pretty severe. I want you to stay there for a second, Katrina, because I know part of the reason you wanted to come on is because you say you've taken back control of panic attacks. Stay there for a second, because I want to go to Elaine in Finglas. Elaine, you're very welcome along to 98FM. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
Now, I read your message and, well, it left me speechless, because your panic attacks are so bad that you've been off work for 2 weeks in a row due to them.
Yeah, this is my second week off work at the minute.
So you've had to take sick leave because of the panic attacks?
Yeah. Because of the nature of my job, I can't, I'm a special needs assistant, so there's no way of me trying to deal with it in work or anything.
Okay, first of all, what age are you, Elaine?
I'm 31.
31. And when did you start having panic attacks?
About 2.5 years ago, I started after my engagement broke down. separated. We were together for 10 years, and everything just started then.
So that was the trigger for it, because obviously when an engagement breaks up, your world falls apart, and that was your way of dealing with it. So you've 2 years of panic attacks, and in the last 2 weeks they've become more frequent, have they?
Like uncontrollably, like what the previous girl was saying, like in one day 5 or 6 panic attacks maybe.
5 or 6 in one day?
Yeah, and then I have bad anxiety as well, and then with my anxiety I vomit. So that's what, like, the nervous system, that's how my nervous system reacts to the anxiety. I vomit, and I don't sleep either.
So you obviously can't be in a work environment, especially as an SNA. You know, if that's going on with you, it's going to make your job pretty impossible. So I assume your doctor gave you a doctor's note to take a couple of weeks off.
Yeah. My doctor is well aware of everything that goes on, and I know my trigger for panic attacks is due to depression.
Okay, so that's triggering the
yeah. So I know exactly why I get them.
Let me ask you, today so far, Elaine, have you had a panic attack?
I have today. I've had one this morning.
And how was that? How did that manifest itself? What happened?
Well, I have a 4-year-old, so I was getting up, getting ready for school, and then we were going to go out to the car, and that tightness, I kind of get like clammy, and that tightness in my chest, and heavy breathing. And then, like, obviously the little fella is excited, he wants to go to school, and I'm just like trying to deal with him, trying to calm myself down. So it sounds awful to say this, but I do have to go and lock myself in the bathroom for like 20 minutes. And sometimes I cry it out.
And sorry, sorry for cutting across you. Is that because you don't want him to see you having the panic attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm afraid that he'll get nervous, or he'll get upset, or he'll think there's something wrong. Like, he's 4, he's like more aware of things that are going on around now, so I try and hide it from him more so. Anybody else, I couldn't care who sees me, couldn't care who knows, but I try and hide it from him.
So you were in the bathroom for 20 minutes this morning. He was outside, was he, at the time?
Yeah, well, I put him into his room, gave him something to let him play, let him whatever, and like I'd kind of talk to him through the bathroom door, and I just tell him that Mommy has a sore tummy.
And when you were in the bathroom for 20 minutes, you were obviously trying to deal with it. Your chest felt compressed, and I know this from talking to friends. That's what they say. It's like somebody dancing on their chest. You were crying. You couldn't breathe, and then
it's just like I have these, like, my GP told me about these breathing exercises, so I try and do them. But then when you're crying, it's hard to do the breathing exercises as well. Like, so. Sometimes it can be really difficult, and sometimes I just have to suck it up and just let it take its course.
But that panic attack, you were lucky in a way that it happened when you were at home. You know, that could have happened outside your child's school. It could have happened.
Yeah.
Could have happened.
Oh, it happens. I've had panic attacks in like weirdest places where they've been really, really, really bad.
In public places.
In public places, yeah.
Now, give me one example of where it happened in public.
I have 2 really bad ones. Once I was in my local Super Value. I was with my sister, and just I don't know what brought it on. It just came on, and I know afterwards I realised if I had walked straight, I would have been outside the store. And I think it was about 15 minutes later, my sister found me wandering around the store, and she was like, "What are you doing? What's wrong with you?" I was like, I need to get out. And she's like, "Just walk straight." I was like, "Where? What are you talking?" Like,
you were all over the place. Yeah.
I was all out. I couldn't find my way. And all I had to do was walk like straight, like 500 yards straight, and I would have been out the door outside. And like people in the store were just like looking at me, thinking there was like something else wrong with me. Like they didn't realise what was going on.
Yeah, because I
was just walking around like in a daze. Like you could physically see the panic on my face. You could physically see that I was panicking. Just
to get this straight, Elaine, that panic attack that happened in Super Value was brought on by nothing. There was no trigger.
No, nothing. And then another time I was driving from Finglas to Tallaght, and I was on the M50, and I started the tightness in my chest the clamminess. My hands started to get tingly, my feet started to get tingly, and I was in the car on my own. So I pulled over, and the only thing I could think of to get relief was I started taking my clothes off. This is like sounds stupid. I had like
here. Listen, nothing sounds stupid here, Elaine. So you know, and you're being quite frank and honest about it. And I think it's good that you're opening up about it on the show. So don't worry about whatever you say. Whatever you say, just speak your mind.
Like I had like a short on me, and I felt like the only relief I could get was taking the shorts off me. I had to take my shoes off. Then there was people stopping on the side of the road. It was like, oh my God, is she crazy? Like I was literally stripping on the side of the M50 because I was afraid. First of all, I was afraid I was going to crash because my feet were tingly. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose all, like, with complete feeling in my feet. Like what the previous day said, like losing control of your body, like having no feeling in your body whatsoever.
And you're obviously you're trying to cope with this. Has your doctor given you medication for it? Have you sought any professional help?
Yeah, I see my GP regularly. I do take medication. I do go to counselling, and these 2 weeks is the worst I've been in about maybe 6 to 8 months.
I can tell even by talking to you that you're going through hell at the moment. I still have Katrina on the other line. Katrina, have you any advice for Elaine?
Well, I would have advice, but as I said there, like I do a bit of healing, so I'd be very intuitive, so I don't really want to go into her information, but I'd say she needs to face the fear, and I think there's a bit of abandonment fear, and like she said, depression there. First of all, you have to face that panic attack without fear. I mean, this is twice I've done it. And I feel so blessed today, Jeremy, that I had those panic attacks because it allowed me to heal the unhealed stuff in my mind. So, for example, the panic attack is on, you go into your deep breath and you ask the panic attack, because the immediate response to a panic attack, like I said to you earlier, is the fear. So you run, or you take your clothes off, or you walk around, or you're confused, or you feel like your chest is thumping. Same thing happens to me. So the immediate response, you need to change your thoughts there, your thinking. You need to ask that panic attack, let it come, let the breathing come, but know in your mind, this is happening to me right now, but this is not going to kill me. I've got through it so many times. And it's like you're asking that panic attack, what do you actually want from me?
Does that make sense to you, Elaine?
Yeah, total sense, yeah.
It's like I said on the message, Jeremy, a panic attack is unhealed, fear, abandonment, self-esteem issues. For example, with me, there was a few things I changed there, but one thing was facing the fear, what that panic attack was trying to tell me. It was trying to tell me that I had unhealed emotional stuff. I went and healed that with a qualified, I say counsellor, but counselling, you're talking. You need to go deeply into the trauma or the abandonment or the hurt, because I feel with that girl, it's unhealed hurt there with her. And
completely. That you haven't dealt with the trauma of the relationship breaking down.
I totally think it is. I think it's like that sense of security is gone. My security blanket basically is gone, and I'm on my own now to deal with everything, and that frightens the life out of me.
Elaine, you're breaking my heart, and I'm sure the listeners as well. Stay there for a second, please. Let me go to Martha. How are you, Martha?
Hi, how are you?
How are things? Very, very difficult listening to Elaine and Katrina's story, especially Elaine, who literally just had a panic attack this morning.
Yes.
And I mean, she's really fighting it at the moment. Tell me about the therapy you're going through at the moment first.
So, I reached out to therapy straight after I had my first panic attack. So, I have a baby girl, she's 1, and I suffered my panic attack when she was 4 months. So I was after actually coming back from Poland, because that's where I'm from originally. So I came back, and literally a few days later, I was at home with her, and we were just after getting an injection at the doctor's, and I was watching a movie. The movie was quite heavy though, so I initially kind of blamed it on that I was maybe the movie that I was watching was just a little bit too heavy. There was too much violence in it and stuff like that. You know, I don't normally watch things like that. And so what happened is I just started to get really warm. And I didn't know why. So I started to get really worried. So it kind of, the fear started to escalate. What's happening to me? You know, am I going to be okay? Am I going to pass out? And what kind of contributed to that as well was that I had my baby girl beside me sleeping, and I was responsible for her, and it was only me and her at home. So I started to think, if something happens to me now, nobody's going to know.
Much like the situation that Elaine was in this morning while she was in the toilet. Her 4-year-old was outside the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, for me, the responsibility bit came to that as well, and that made me even more worried. That made it all escalate. And on top of that, I didn't know what was happening to me and why. What you know, like physically, what was going on. So after that, I literally, like, I think the next day I went to the doctor and I explained what happened to me.
Okay.
So the doctor was very understanding, and they kind of said that if it was only like a one panic attack at the moment, he didn't recommend any medication. So he said, you know, it could be just once off. You need to see how you're going to get on. So he just gave me, I just kind of insisted on something. I insisted on something that can calm me down in case I'm going to get another attack like this, because it was an absolutely horrible experience. So it kind of changes your life.
And I'm sorry, what was the answer the doctor gave you?
So the doctor said that it would be good to do a little bit of kind of maybe in the likes of meditation.
Okay.
So just to try to do that before reach, you know, out to any type of medication, to do a little bit of that, to calm myself down, to be able to release the stress. So I didn't know at that time. I didn't know much at that time. I didn't know anything, you know, about this. But actually, the few days later, my sister said to me that actually our cousin was suffering with a similar thing. So I connected with her, and she was the first person that knew exactly what I was talking about, because she's been through the same thing.
Okay, stay there for a second, Martha. I'm sorry for cutting across you, but I need to go to an ad break. And Laura, Elaine, stay there for a second as well, because I'm going to be talking to Laura straight after the break, who says she might have a solution for you. It's 98FM's Dublin Talks. We're talking to people who suffer with panic attacks, and in particular, a lot of people are affected by Elaine's story. Elaine is a young mother from Finglas who started having panic attacks after her relationship broke down. She has a young child, and she's out of work on 2 weeks sick leave at the moment because she's having them so regularly. Don't go away.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.
It's 98FM's Dublin Talks with Jeremy Dixon here for a Monday, and we're talking about something that affects 10% of the population, and that is panic attacks. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note.
The best way to describe a panic attack is that you feel like you're spinning into another dimension and that your brain can't focus on what's actually in front of you. You start seeing things that aren't there, you're hearing things that aren't there, and it's this feeling that like it's never going to end, it's never going to stop. The first time I got a panic attack, I was 6 years old and I was on a plane, and it's so hard when you're so small because you don't know what's happening to you. You feel like you're dying, and it's so hard on your parents as well because they can't see what it is that you're seeing and they don't know how to help you. And I feel like it's nearly more difficult for people who've grown up with it, because as an adult you're able to rationalize the situation a bit more, and it's skills that you have to learn as a child along with school in order to just survive every day.
I didn't realise, because I'm quite ignorant as regards panic attacks, I didn't realise they can start at such a young age. Let me go to, by the way, I want to hear from you. If you do suffer them, if you have family members, if you've overcome having panic attacks, I want to hear from you. 6797 981 is our telephone number, 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp your comments to 087 7 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Somebody wants to know why is it all women? I don't know why it's all women. I don't know if you're being smart about that or if it's a genuine question. We open the phone lines to people. We don't discriminate against men or women. It just so happens that it's women that are ringing in to talk about it. Maybe men. Obviously, men do suffer with panic attacks. If you're a man that does, the lines are open to you. You're very welcome to come on the air. Let me go to Laura. How are you, Laura?
Hey, Jeremy. Just listen to Elaine there, God love her.
Oh, you're hard to go out here, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But listen, I want her to try is that now it's only the last 2 weeks that I haven't had a panic attack and the anxiety hasn't been really bad. My husband and my boys have even noticed a difference. But I started taking a spoonful of honey every night before I went to bed. So after about 3 nights, I was saying to my husband, that's weird, I'm not really feeling the anxiety and panicking. And so I Googled it and I never knew honey actually helps the nervous system. So I started taking, and I swear to God, last week was the first week where I actually couldn't believe that I hadn't got that fear thing in me. And
now, obviously, that's not the solution for everybody. Everybody would have different.
No, but there's no harm in trying.
There's no harm in trying.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you tried that, Elaine? Honey, before going to bed at night?
No, I've never actually heard that about the honey. Elaine, just try it, and during the day or even before bed, a banana, because when any time I've been taken to hospital when it's been really bad, my potassium is always very low. Now, I bought potassium tablets, but you're not supposed to take them like that because they can do something to your kidneys. So in the banana, if you eat a banana a day as well, it helps with your heart rate. So I eat the banana before I go to bed, and I take a spoonful of the honey. And it's just to try it, Elaine, because it's just like a sigh of relief for me that I literally can be in my own home without panicking. Like I was like a big child. If my husband was going for a game of golf, me sister or my friend or my boys or my daughter-in-laws had to mind me. Do you know what I mean? And I'm literally... Oh, I know exactly. It's horrible, or else you're on the phone every 2 minutes is ringing everybody and anybody just to feel... that little bit of security, or even if the phone rings. Yeah, even if the phone rings, then you're jumping because it's like a circuit off or a bang or whatever. But seriously, love, just try the honey because I'm just eat every night. Now, you don't have to go for that Manuka one, the real dare one. Just get a one out of Dunn's. I was a Healy family or something is the one I chose. But just take a spoonful every night just to see, because I noticed the difference after 3 days of doing it. Like, even take one now. If you have honey at home,
and from what I can gather from you, Elaine, you will try anything at this stage to...
I would, because like I am taking medication, and last week I was put on medication to help with the anxiety and the vomiting, and that just knocks me out. So like, and I'm nervous taking that then because I have the little fella here all the time. I'm like, what if I take it and I just go out cold and something happens and like... I can't wake up like that's, and then that makes me panic even more. Like, so I'm like, no.
Okay, that's adding to it. Yeah. And do you have family members who can help you out?
Oh, my family are absolutely amazing.
Well, that's good.
Absolutely amazing. Like, I live 5-10 minutes from my mum, and my sister is very close to me. Like, lives very close as well, and. Literally, sometimes I only have to ring them and they're like, I'm in the car already, I'm on the way. You know,
okay,
like,
so they're aware.
They're like, they know.
Okay, that's something. Stay there for a second, Elaine. Let me go to one last call in Dundrum. Julie, how are you?
Not too bad, how are you?
Grand, you've been having panic attacks for years. Or for the last 4 years, anyway.
Yeah, 4 to 5 years.
It's still happening, is it? You still getting them?
Yes. Yeah, not so often anymore.
Certainly not 5 a day, as Elaine is getting them.
No.
And how did they at the start, were they happening more often? Like,
yeah, so it kind of started when I was doing my leaving cert. But then, I mean, you've mentioned it before, there's also the kind of experiencing loss, end of relationships, that kind of thing has also impacted it. So I think the first one that I remember was my leaving cert results night. I was out with my friends and I panicked. My chest got very tight. I was crying. I was upset. I hadn't been drinking. And I had an asthma attack. So my panic attack set off my asthma, which is obviously not great when you're in a public place.
No, not at all.
So I didn't have my inhalers at the time. I ended up having to call my dad and get him to drive into the city to pick me up with my inhalers because I couldn't breathe.
That must have been terrifying for you, was it?
It was pretty horrible.
And how are you now?
Feeling a bit tight in the chest at the moment, actually.
Oh, are you? Okay.
But it's not as bad as it used to be, but it's more that the breathing techniques that you've all been talking about. I'm delighted that they work for so many people on some occasions, but it's just a bit more of a challenge for me, given that I do have asthma as well.
Well, fair play to you for opening up on the show about it, Julie. And that seems to be, going back to Elaine, I'm going to give the last say to you, Elaine, that seems to be what a lot of people are saying, the breathing techniques. There's a lot of support coming in for you, Elaine. A lot of people can relate to what you're going through. We're going to keep in contact with you. You're off this full week as well, are you?
I am, yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we'll touch base with you on Friday and see how your week went. Is that okay? Would that be okay with you?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, I'll be fine, yeah.
Thanks very much, and thanks for talking to us on the show, Elaine. I know it wasn't easy. That's Elaine, mother of a young child, suffers with up to 5 panic attacks a day. Let's finish off by playing this WhatsApp voice note.
The best way to describe a panic attack is that you feel like...
Sorry, we played it already. It was this message. Hi, I get panic attacks when I have a few drinks around 4 or more. So I wake up around half an hour later in terrible panic as if I'm dying, says this person. That's absolutely crazy. Maybe you should give up the drink. That would be my advice to you. If you are trying to deal with panic attacks, suffering with panic attacks, I have a helpline number for you for Mental Health Ireland. And the number it's a landline number. It's 284 1186. 284 1186. And that is Mental Health Ireland. And they are professional people. I'm not professional. I just wanted for people to open up to let people who suffer with panic attacks to know that there are other people out there and that there is help out there for you. And I mean, there's so many messages coming through that we could talk about this all day, and lots of different people contacting us with different ways that they try to deal with their panic attacks. But listen, we're going to stay in contact with Elaine and see how she gets on this week. But there's a lot of support for you, Elaine, coming in from the listeners. I hope you enjoyed Dublin Talks today. We're back again for Tuesday morning show tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If there's something you want brought up on the show, you can contact us. The best way, facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. Facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10. Andy Clark is up with some tunes in the next hour.
I just wanna feel real love, feel the home that I live. Everything inside you is dark and twisted. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is the kind that can't get no love from
98FM's
Dublin Talks
with Des Kelly Interiors. For all the latest trends in carpets, vinyls and wood flooring. Des Kelly Interiors, where quality flooring costs less. 98FM.